bigger than a hell ring. Things like you heard on the decks. Glover hold the court and give the chief no suspect. Politics in the mix, like Gumbo Stewart Rich. Spinning tales from Black Wall Street, real life's the pitch. Doni Glover Show, be more news. 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 Business tips hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the concrete, finger on the pulse. Dropping wisdom like Hova, each word a joke. Doni Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, rebirth like a clock. Markets rising from ashes to gains. Doni the narrator, truth runs in veins. Doni Glover Show, be more news. 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 Business tips hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the concrete, finger on the pulse. Dropping wisdom like Hova, each word a joke. Doni Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, rebirth like a clock. Markets rising from ashes to gains. Doni the narrator, truth runs in veins. Doni Glover Show, be more news. 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 Be news.
I was glad when they said unto me, let us do this radio show and get it popping. Welcome to tonight's show. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Good evening to you all. Do check out our website, bemorenews.com. We've been around for 23 years. We try to cover issues relevant to our community. About 3 months ago, we started this Indigenous Series. Tonight's conversation is about restoring legacy and dignity, two words that hold weight of generations. For centuries, our story has been interrupted, rewritten, renamed, repackaged by people who never walked in our shoes. How can I believe anything that an oppressor tells me? Because it's all lies. How can I believe any of it? Any of it. It's all lies for me. Can't speak for you. We've been called everything except who we truly are. Yet somehow, through all of the confusion, through all of the erasure, our spirit never dies. And that's indicative every time Horus goes and covers one of those pyramids and he reminds us that our ancestors are talking to us. Legacy is what they tried to bury. Dignity is what they tried to break. But here we are. Here we are still standing, still questioning, still reclaiming. We are the descendants of the builders, the thinkers, the dreamers. What would this world be without us? It would have no rhythm, no swag, no pop, no je ne sais quoi. We have always been the scientists, the architects, the warriors, the healers. And if it means tracing our bloodlines to honor our ancestors, then that we shall do. We do know one thing for sure. Our history did not start nor end with slavery. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our point guard for the night, Mr. Mafia Shakur.
Peace, Mr. Doni. Peace, Horse.
From the Dog Star Network, we got Hars.
I feel it, man. Hannibal. Peace, what it did.
Straight out of Detroit, Hannibal.
Peace.
And the native New Yorker, a.k.a. Elder. What we call him Planet 12.
All right.
How was your day, gentlemen?
Oh, man.
Good.
All right. It's all right.
Absolutely.
Man, what y'all been blowing up in that text group we got? You gonna share any? Y'all gonna share any of that? Hey, Mafia, you supposed to have a one-pager right there. This, bam.
We always share. We always share. Every time we come on the show, we share what we have about in the chat as far as in connecting the pyramids to the different tribal cultures of different areas and tracing the names and connecting with that collective consciousness. Also with reconnecting with yourself and your identity and your personal lineage, because each of our story is unique to this grand story, but we all play a part in this grand story.
That's right.
Like how we was learning about the Matcha-Mesquite tribe, and the Machapunga tribe, the Pamunkey tribe. Different tribes that come under these universal names that we have for these different tribes, like Cherokee or Creeks, Muskogees, like Algonquin speaking, Samoan speaking. Is many different other tribal names that come up under these groups. And along with these last names, these surnames. How y'all feeling though?
Good.
Feeling good, brother. I mean, with the path that we're acquiring, man, you can't help but feel good.
No, definitely. I can't hear you, Hannibal. What's going on, though, Planet Wells? How are you today?
Good.
You got to unmute your mic, Hannibal.
Yeah, your mic is down, Hannibal.
Hey, you got me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, could you let the audience in on how we connected with the Matamuskets and how that connected to them free people of color in that last discussion that we had, and how we connected that to the Harris family. That's why I want you to.
Yeah, because that's how we came across our common relative, by tracing that name back to the tribe that was in that area at that time. That was the Machapunga tribe that we connected the Matcha-Mesquite tribe to.
Right.
And that was through the Harris line. And the Harris line got us to, what was that, the Chavez line or the Evans line?
Yeah, through the Evans line, because all of them is like kind of related together. The Harrises, the Evans, the Gibsons, the Chavezes, and stuff. It's kind of ironic that these kind of families I've been running across even today. I met a few of them today at where I be at. It's goal to say that this is the part of the Powhatan Confederacy. I was just reading up on them. They was there in Cape Fear, North Carolina. So right there, that a lot of us got a lot of ancestry, especially down in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. You came by way of North Carolina from Virginia and Maryland. So that's where we at now. So if you wanted to, you could share some of your documents and stuff, that basis of what we've been conversating about, Mafia, and show people that we coming up with a working program, something that we can go ahead and get together and get people on and get them a run and start on their genealogy and give them an understanding on Native history, because that's what's left out in the picture. We always talk things in black and white, but when it comes to the Native aspect, is always left out. So
Mhm.
that's where we at. So it includes things like even like mound builders and stuff that we had conversations about that earlier, and talking about how, you know, making the emphasis on letting everybody know of is, if we keep in mind when the 800, the year 800, when the Moors conquered Spain, we got to.
Mhm.
That's the timeline when the mound builders and the Mississippians was doing their
You see
thing
the
over
screen?
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this the document that we was started on right here. Just as far as in my last name and my matriarchal last names that come from my mother's bloodline,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go down to my father's last name bloodlines. I really don't have too much on that side of the family, and yeah, just keep going down to my great grandparents and so forth, all the way on back until the eldest relative that I could get to, which is like the 1400s, and I just keep going. And
Wow.
Hannibal set up. Hannibal set up a process, a phase by phase process that we could go through. And you just basically plugging in the information that you know in the system that he set up will help you
Mm-hmm.
organize all of the information.
Yeah.
As
So I got.
opposed,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I got a cousin named Jace. He kind of educated me on. He really educated me on organizing these things right here. So what we actually doing is taking all the information we know about our ancestors and putting it in a Google Doc. And what we doing from there, we adding the citations, meaning we adding the actual documents to confirm this. And then actually, as we go through the whole story, we're going to get a master prompt. And this master prompt is going to actually be the prompt to tell the whole story of your whole family. You'll be able to see the interactions of all the things your family ever did and up to you. So it's not an easy work, but it's a work. So it's we often run it. So it's basically getting your documentation together and actually connecting you to these tribes, and then actually getting you to the point where you can get your documents, your deeds, your documents that back you up on treaties and etc. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Powerful, powerful, brother, powerful.
Yes, sir. So that's where we at with it today. So I got this got my website up and running today. It's called Our Heritage Hub. So we're gonna be doing a lot of research for folks if they need some research and a lot of guidance to help them, give them some information on where to search, you know what I'm saying, and where to get
Yeah.
off.
Please,
You know.
Yeah.
please.
Can you say the name of it again and maybe put it on the screen?
Okay, it's called Our Heritage Hub. Let me pull it up real quick.
So, Harsh, what's been happening with you, Papa?
Man, just rolling, brother. I don't know, man. Seeing it for the last couple of podcasts, man. Seeing the ancestors put me right where I need to be. I'm actually in Appalachians right now in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Okay, could you guys see my screen?
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Did you load it?
Yes, I loaded. So this is a website that I just started today.
I don't
We
see
can't
it.
see.
Just tell me the name of it.
It's called, let me share the link with you real quick. I'm going to put it in there for you. It's called OurHeritageHub.com.
OurHeritageHub.com.
Yes, sir. I'm coming back. I'm going to send you the link right now.
No, we got you.
Okay.
So it's going to be focused on gathering information, gathering people's history, telling the stories of
Oh, that's
people.
great. Yeah.
Then we can cross-reference everybody's stories against each other, and see the full story. So on this site right there, on that first page there, people can leave their emails and they can leave me a message from there.
Good work, brother. Good work.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, great work.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Those are my people right there. That's my family.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
So
Yes,
you were saying, Horace? You said the
No, but
ancestors have been talking to you?
Well, I'm saying they keep placing me in these locations that we speak on. You know, the other day it was Cahokia. Now it's the Appalachians, man. And I you know, sometimes I can't stop like exactly when I want to, but I was approaching some Appalachians, brother, and when I tell you a perfect triangles, yeah, perfect triangles, man.
What
But I
do you
know
mean?
that I mean just that's pyramid triangles, man. That was
Oh, you
that's
mean
undeniable.
the shape of the pyramids?
Yeah,
So
perfect, man. But
I think this is a question for Hannibal. It said, are you familiar with the Raglands and the Lawsons from Granville County and Person County, North Carolina?
Yes, I am. Doing my research, I came across them names before dealing with like I said, the Harris family, the Gibson families down there in Granville. It's also like you got Robeson and you got a few more counties down there, Halifax. There's a couple more down there.
And then here's another question for you. Do you know any of the Parhams or the Blason games?
Now, I know the Parhams, it's the Parhams that was there in Coosa County with us. I haven't heard of, too much of the other one that you said about.
So let me ask you this. For somebody just listening to this show and they hear you spitting out these names, what do you hope they are hearing?
I'm hoping they hear the origins of when they talk about when the colonial times happened. The names, the surnames of the families that was around there. I hope they hear their beginnings. You get what I mean?
this falls in the line with what we're working on right now. Nothing Hannibal.
The Holy Prophet told the Moors to not throw away your slave names, your family name, because we have a birthright under them. For the work that our ancestors did in slavery time will be paid off for this.
That's
and with
100%.
compounded interest. And this is Brother J. Blakely Bay told the Moors this. Who is J. Blakely Bay?
Well, I don't know who he is, but he's speaking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Does this come from a particular book?
This is from the 101s of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And
Okay.
this right here, the second one that I'm putting up here on the screen is according to their well, no, those were the questionnaires of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This right here is from the 101s, and if you look at question number 35, it says, "Where do we get the name Jesus from the West?" Now this was written in 1913.
You know, a lot of people know there was no J sound.
Yeah.
At that time. If anything, it was a Y sound. Yeshua.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, I think that more so than the name itself, I think that more so it's the concept. But the thing is that we were always taught that this was a thing that emanated from the East instead of the West. You see what I'm saying?
Well, what part? Because we got a lot of different things in there.
But no, I'm talking about the one that we're talking about right now, number 35.
Right.
Yeah, we would talk about the whole Jesus concept, etc. came from over there when Noble Drew Ali said it came from here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, slow down. You saying Jesus was born out in Colorado somewhere?
Well, no, not the actual person, but the you know, the dogma or the concept.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Of,
yeah.
yeah.
Once it hit the Greeks, once it hit that translation, it was ball game.
Well, no, okay. Like I said, I don't think that it's the word Jesus. I think it's the actual concept, because what we are understanding that everything that they told us was an Eastern thing was a Western thing first. You see what I'm saying? So not just the name Jesus, even if it was, you know, just put the word Yahshua there instead of Jesus. See what I'm saying? The concept of that particular concept itself is not an Eastern thing. It doesn't have anything to do with it. It migrated to that part of the world, but it originally came from here, which is the land that's associated with Atlantis.
Now you done totally lost me, shorty.
Well, anybody else get where I'm coming from?
I'm following you.
I'm with you. He just saying that not just the word Jesus in itself, but the concept of this Christ-like being that we speaking on comes from the East as opposed to the West. We think that Christianity came from Africa or Europe and all these things, but it actually comes from the West land, which is where we are in the so-called East of the people in the West eyes.
Hold up. Y'all saying Jesus was over here in the West?
Yeah.
Not the Arabic. It's because Jesus is like a title. It's like becoming a doctor, or
where y'all get this from? Where'd you get it from?
This right here comes from the 101 questionnaires of the Noble of the Moorish Sign Symbol of America, which was prepared by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because
if you go to the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea will show you where the war on spirituality became a religious group. So these religions came together and they gave you what we call the Abrahamic religions, and we had this Council of Nicaea to dictate the religious world and the structures of political science in the world.
You got it now, Donnie? Not necessarily the person, but if there was a person named Jesus or Yahshua, it originated here in the original land of the ancient of days, which is associated with Atlantis. It didn't come from over there, just like the pyramids started here. So everything was taken over there and then packaged up and given back to us as if it was something new from somewhere else.
So what was the original name?
But with that part, I don't know. I mean, some say Yahshua.
At least you honest. I appreciate you not trying to concoct something.
Yeah. Some say Yahshua. The Muslims say Isa.
ISIS. Offset.
Yeah, ISIS. Heru.
Isa.
Isa. Yeah. Isa. Tammuz. Heru. Loki. A few different names.
You know,
well, at this juncture, I'm open to everything. But I tell you what, the unfortunate part is everything we've ever been told or taught, just about all of it has been a lie.
Well, that's the difficulty.
I'm gonna tell you when I first got pissed off. I got first pissed off. It had to be about 1975. It was about December 24th. I was about 10 years old. I looked out the window upstairs because everybody tell you go be quiet. And then you see a car and you see all this stuff in it. I've been pissed off since I was 10 years old. That's when I found out there wasn't no dude bringing no toys around there. And y'all thought it was cool. A lot of kids. I've been pissed off ever since. But then I found out that Santa Claus was a black man from Turkey. Because y'all know white people ain't giving y'all nothing. They gonna charge you.
Yeah.
Well,
They gonna charge you, sure. They ain't giving you no Christmas gift. They charging you with interest. What?
One of the things is that they often associate this continent or this area, and they use the term the New World, right? So I mean, it's just these subtle things, right? Or they discovered America, whatever, right? So new to who?
Right.
But we never look at it that way. New to who? It wasn't new to us. We were here. And we have all these structures to prove that we was here.
I know what.
And we got family to prove that we're here. So even something when they say, oh, we came to the new world. New to who?
It was new to them.
Correct.
From their perspective, it was new. They had never seen it before.
Correct. So when they come from the place that they are at, and they come over here to do what? To bring religion?
Now they come to get the land. I done told you about the bishop on the chessboard. The priest wasn't the priest that we know today. The priest was down with the program.
Well, the priest
give
was
you this Bible. You're gonna close your eyes, wake up. I got your land.
The priest was he moonlight as a real estate man,
and an assassin.
Absolutely.
The priest was strapped. That Pope had bodyguards.
And he had a flask.
Oh, he was pickled too. And nowadays, all of the priests been looking at little boys we come to find.
Oh, man.
And, I want to, when you said that we've been lied to, and I always said that, well, everyone knows that according to the laws of physics, heat rises to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then why is it cold up north and hot down south?
Right. There you go.
The directions is upside down.
Exactly.
Wow. I've seen pictures of the continent of Africa inverted.
Right.
Right.
It makes you really wonder, what do we really know? Unless we've seen it for ourselves.
Now, once again, what Horace just said is very, very profound, right? Because what we do is we assume that the other homies, right, are always telling the truth, right? So we just naturally accept that because that's what we learn in 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever, right? And if you were older when they didn't even have black people on television, that's all you saw constantly. So when you went to the church, right? This was my early kind of awakening. Is I went to a church, a Methodist church. My father was a Methodist and wanted us to go to Sunday school. And they had I have a sensitivity to art. So they had the beautiful paintings, the stained glass and everything like that, all this, And I looked at it and I said, all of the disciples is white. All of the angels in heaven are white. I didn't see myself nowhere. I didn't see any other person there. I didn't see any Chinese, any Japanese, any South Americans, nothing. Right? But it was programmed for us because that was the only thing you saw. So naturally, when you went to school, you assumed that what the teacher was teaching you about geography or about this or about planets or any of it was the truth. Now we're coming into the realization that no. There were either promoting something that would support an idea of white supremacy, okay, innocently enough, they probably grew up in it, or they straight out lying to you to get, the upper hand over you. So that puts a human being in a very challenging position, because now you have to go back and investigate what you learned, right? And all of those pats on the back that you got for being a good student, right? All of that you have to question and you have to look at. Because the one thing I think we can agree on when we inquire into this stuff, like everyone on the panel has been doing, is that, yeah, they actually lie on a constant, consistent basis. Constantly.
You know,
So
I remember.
that's a challenge.
I'm sorry. You gonna
No,
say
go ahead.
something?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done.
Horace?
Oh no, I was just agreeing to what he was saying.
You know, I was thinking back, before we started this show, it's been 3 months now. I remember having this burning question, and I really had nowhere to really talk about it. I don't know if you recall, I did a video on Black Indians maybe a decade ago, and some of the comments were so disparaging. I just, and the worst ones weren't from people of other races. It was from people that look like me, as if I should be ashamed of being Blackfoot, ashamed of being in part Puerto Rican, what have you, as if there's not more to our story. But I remember thinking to myself, we've been told that we are the descendants of enslaved people. Could we be the descendants of prisoners of war?
And the first thing I just thought about was that we got to realize that the Native American was enslaved as well, first to be enslaved. So when that term enslaved is an all-encompassing term of people that went through this experience.
And there were white slaves.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
And there were black slave owners.
Right.
It wasn't. See, they paint this simple picture: black slave, white free.
Right. It's a status. It's a status game. It's like having money and not having money.
Right.
Hey, listen, let me set the stage. We are about to be joined by Big Brother Almighty. And y'all be very kind to him. He shared a lot of history. Plus, he can fight too. He from down in Georgia, but he been up in Baltimore, so he been learning from them cats in East Baltimore about switchblades and stuff like that. I'm just pulling your leg. This is our beloved delegate Clarence Tiger Davis. We call him Tiger. Tiger's fine.
Hey,
All right.
how you doing, my brother?
Pleasure.
Yeah, my apologies, man. I was hooked up into this meeting to gain control of Cade Armory, which most of our folks will refer to as Winchester Armory. Black National Guardsmen built that armory. That armory must stay in the hands of our community, man. And so
So Tiger, listen, this panel. Well, let me let them introduce themselves. Mafia, you go ahead and start it off.
Yeah, Mafia Shakur from Baltimore.
East Baltimore in particular.
Horace Lee IV, Chicago South Side.
Hey, what's up there, brother?
All right, my brother.
I'm Hannibal James from Detroit.
Hey.
Planet Wells currently in Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got an extraordinary panel here, man.
We get together, and you've been on this show before. We talk about the history, and matter of fact, it was either Horace or Hannibal that mentioned you the last time. Was it you, Hannibal? When he came on before, you said you couldn't wait for him to come back.
I believe it was Horace. It was. I think so. I think it was Horace, right?
But no, bro. This is my first time seeing Tiger.
All right.
Really? Or were you in for a treat?
Well,
Tell them what you do with the veterans, Tiger, and then tell them about the lesson you learned from the Indian chief.
Well, basically, you know, I come out of the Black liberation struggle, man. Okay, because you know when we was 18 years old or 17, we ended up overseas, and we looked back at America, and it looked a whole lot different than when you're here, you know, and we began to see the world through different eyes, and no longer were we imprisoned by the educational system, you know, here in America, because I grew up not understanding, you know, our relationship to the rest of the world. And we did tours in Africa, all over the world, you know, as the man say, whipping everybody's butt for the white man. That's just the way we describe it, okay?
Mm.
And then we look back, our communities are burning or what have you. And most of us will return home to engage in the liberation struggle. Now, for those of you who may not know much about what happened with the Vietnam thing, I want you to click into your computer first chance you get. Wally Terry, Wally Terry, Terry, and behind it, guess who is coming home? Guess who's coming home? You know, when you get off this program, I want you to check it out. So I want you to take a look at
Something's going
the
on with the
world
audio.
with other spies who were in the jungles, you know, in Vietnam. Okay. But
We're
now,
experiencing an
my
audio
first day home,
problem.
I was locked up in jail. Okay, simply because I refused to be a boy. And from that particular point on, it was Katie bar the door. You know, I had to stand up. I don't know where that. Yes, sir.
Is it clear to everyone? I couldn't hear him.
No.
Hear him. Did anyone hear him?
Well, okay. Well, let me check something here.
We have an audio problem.
Let me check his audio. No, that's not Tiger. Hey, Horace, can you delete these boxes you got down the bottom? I think we're being zapped by maybe them 3-letter people. Somebody don't want this conversation to happen.
Who's that Moses down there?
Moses.
Okay.
Said Moses dealt with that already. Okay, go ahead, Tiger. You got the floor.
Okay. Well, you know, when I came home, there was no question about what I was going to do because condition dictated what I did. And I just went with the flow or the currents of history. And the current of history dictated that we had to struggle for our liberation and for freedom of our mind, because what we realized when we came home was that most of our people's minds were imprisoned by what we might call their concept of the world, which was really a concept that was bestowed upon them by master. Okay. And this is one of the things my good young brother Doni and I, we might disagree with this a little bit, but Russell Means, he was a Sioux Indian. And when I paid homage or tribute to the Buffalo Soldiers, you know, Russell and I had a falling out because the way he viewed the world was that the black soldiers or the Buffalo Soldiers were part of the genocide against the Native Americans. Now, that was a little bit hard for me to swallow, okay? But then when you think about it, yes, we did. We did help master destroy the Native Americans, okay? And
I'm not calling them master. I always wanted to tell you that. I ain't calling them that.
Well, you don't have to call him that, but I don't call him that as if he is my master.
Okay.
I call him that because he might think he's my master. Look, I ain't got but one master, and that's upstairs. Okay. Unless it's my mama. Okay. But the bottom line is Russell saw the world through the eyes of a Native American. And so I was forced to look at the world through his eyes. And yes, the Buffalo Soldiers and other African Americans did participate in the westward expansion, which meant the annihilation or the genocide against Native Americans. Now, I could say all I want to that, look, Black folks was very kind and sociable, taught, and brotherly taught all people, the Native Americans especially. But that still does not take away the fact that we were part of the military might that destroyed Native Americans and committed genocide. So
now I gotta pose this. I gotta get you to circle back around to this. Number one, you're originally from Georgia.
Yes.
Where in Georgia?
Well, we affectionately refer to it as Kill a Nigger, Hang 'em High, Georgia. Okay. But I'm from a place called Wilkes County in Wilkes County. And we always use the town, the nearest town, which is Washington, Georgia. But I'm from a plantation. My folks have been on the same land since the late 1700s, right? And I've got documentation on my family all the way back to the 1820s.
Were any of them Indian?
Oh yeah. My one of my the next to the last of my great grandmothers who passed, Grandma Flora, was a Native American. But you got to remember now, all the people who was 80 years old or above when I was a kid had been born slaves. And so when you come out of that Georgia plantation life, you had been nurtured by former slaves because they were too old to go to the cotton fields to pick cotton or to sow the land. And so they took care of the kids. All they did was sit under that old shady tree with a switch. And when they called you, you came. But they gave us wisdom. And they taught us that we had to be twice as good. And boy, don't you do that. Don't you play no fool for nobody and that kind of stuff. It didn't mean a lot to us then, but as we grew older, the wisdom of those slaves, it became the foundation of who we were. And so thus my generation in 1960 took on the racism and the bigotry in America. Okay. But we're the last generation to have that direct connection to slaves. And I think we're blessed because we did have that connection. Now, my great-grandmother Flora, the last slave, that's how we call her, we refer to her as the last slave, she has two granddaughters that's still alive. My father's younger first cousins, two of them are still alive. One is in the 90s and one is in the 80s. But their grandmother is called the last slave. She is my great-grandmother. She died in 19...
Let me ask you this. Did it ever come to mind that maybe whether or not some of your ancestors were never enslaved at all?
Well, there were some who probably were not enslaved, but when you come out of Georgia, most of them were slaves. Okay, but the one thing about the South, and I don't, which is somewhat different, they will recognize certain truths. When I went home, and I go home to Georgia every summer because I go to my ancestral church because that's all of my family is buried in 3 churches down there. They had a statue of a Black Revolutionary War hero in the town square where they used to hang and whoop my folks, right? They got a statue of a Black Revolutionary War hero. And then they got another plaque over there that says that sources suggest that as many as 40% of the militias were made up of what? African people and Indians. Now that's kind of heavy in it. Nearly 40%. Now this is coming out of Georgia. So you've got to wonder how many black folks did fight in the Revolutionary War. Now most books are going to say 5,000. Some are going to take it all as high as 9,000 African people fought for the Americans. And then other books are going to say approximately the same number fought for the British. But what happened to those people? James Forten, who was captured at 15, became one of the wealthiest men in the country, right? Financed the Underground Railroad, all of that stuff. Thomas Peters on the other side with the British, they went up to Nova Scotia, and then they took a crew back to the west coast of Africa and founded the modern-day state of Sierra Leone. But these are the stories that we have to talk about so that we understand who our people were and what their contributions were, not to America, but to humanity.
I just got one burning question for you. You and I have talked about a lot of history, including one of them favorite stories you just shared there about James Forten up in Philadelphia. Rich black man, free melanated man. They don't like the word black on it. They say black is the devil or the death or something like it. It ain't real. But anyway, is it possible that there were melanated people already here when the European got here?
No question about it. All you have to do is look at some of the statues, especially down in Central and South America. You know, they're pure Africans, man.
Well, that's where they get ready to beat us up in the chat. They're saying that these melanated people were here in the Americas for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
But we had never told this story in school that melanated people were already here, had civilizations, communities, that the cities we have now are only built on top of what was already going on here with the Mississippian culture. I mean, you know better than anybody that a melanated man founded Chicago.
Yeah, but look, man. Jesus was one of us. Okay, I mean, let's deal with the whole truth. Yeah, you know,
the truth is,
people
we've been given roots and Kunta Kinte as if that's all there is to our story. Chicken George, Fiddler, Kizzy, Toby. That's it. We never talk about our indigenous roots and our connection to this land or the pyramids. Oh my God. I'm going to shut down and let my boys
let me give you one quick story and then I'm going to shut up. Look, in the Bible, it talks about the Queen of Sheba going to the Holy Land to see this great king called Solomon, right? She goes there, she and Solomon do the wild thing.
Hey, Glenn, that's your connection. That's why I got you on mute, okay?
Okay, they do the wild thing, and they have a son named Menelik, right? She then goes back to Ethiopia. Menelik comes back and gets the Ark of the Covenant and takes it back with him. Now, Menelik, that was a straight bloodline from Menelik all the way up to what? Haile Selassie, whom most of us know about, right? A direct bloodline, which means that if it means that Menelik is also related to Jesus then, right? Okay. But see, we don't look at history like that. We go with what somebody else done told us instead of thinking for ourselves. There were no white folks in that area. God revealed himself to us there and everywhere else in the world. God revealed himself to, and especially in Latin America, or what we want to call South America. But see, we continually look at history through the prism of the beast, as we used to call it. Okay. And at some point, we're going to have to begin to see the world as it is and not be ashamed to say Jesus was one of us. Okay. Muhammad was one of us. We are the greatest people on the face of this earth, okay? But somehow they have distorted the view of history, and we have accepted their distortions of who we are. Or let's say world history, which means that we don't know who we are. We are God's chosen people, and once we begin to act like it, we're going to become free.
Right.
I'm done.
But I want to zone in, and here we a little bit we accept some of these monotheistic Abrahamic theologies for what they're worth, but we do understand here that we predate those particular ideologies by billions of years. So we don't necessarily, not to to try to debate with you on that particular system, but we are a little bit more elevated past that. But I do want to say this is that my father's last name is Davis, and it's James Davis, man. So I mean, I could be considered a Davis, but he was in Vietnam and he came back strung out on heroin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you from Detroit?
No, I'm from Chicago, brother.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So he was strung out on heroin, and I share out to Pops. He passed a couple of years ago, but yeah, he told me a lot of things, man. How they were dropping barrels of opium out of airplanes over there in Vietnam, and how the people in the Vietnam didn't want to go to war with the people that looked like us. They told them blatantly, like, man, this is, we're not trying to fight y'all, but unfortunately, a lot of us, still chose, to kill some of our cousins over there on Vietnamese land for whatever reason, but then still have to come back to this land and go to the toilet on the side of the road somewhere, take a back seat, or get you, a bowl of grits with some fresh spit in it.
Well, they told you right. Okay, your dad told you right about that, because early on, so that war was in about 3 phases. The first phase, man, the Vietnamese tried to avoid confrontations with blacks. You could be in a whorehouse over there, and the VC would come through. They would see you humping. They would just bow and keep right on going. They wouldn't mess with you. But then them young boys come over there trying to be John Wayne and stuff, right? And so, hey, they had to open up and fire on all of us, okay? But the Vietnamese always had a special relationship. I'm talking about the ones we were fighting, okay, for the man. They always had a special relationship with us, man.
But I think one of those reasons is because in their temples in Vietnam, their gods look just like us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They certainly do, especially if you get up around Wade, right? Because the gods there look just like those in South America, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like those.
Cambodia too, Angkor Wat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when I think of Vietnam, I'm thinking of all of Southeast Asia, man. But and remember this. I don't care where you look at in the world. You go to India. The people who ruled India initially were cold black people. But then when the Aryans, and that's what they were called, came down from Central Asia into India, they defeated the darker brothers, okay? And they conquered India. And then the pure white man, or those who were from Europe, they didn't come over and conquer. But remember the Aryans, and if you look at the books now, they call them just what they are. They labeled them the Aryans. They came in the India. Now, if you look at India, the further south you go, the darker they are, right? And some of them look so black, they're blacker than black. But they don't want to even admit that, because they too have been programmed with the European version of the world. And it's a shame. And when you ask them that, they will hem and haw, but then eventually they will recognize that truth. Okay. And then you look at them islands in the Indian Ocean or the islands of the Pacific. These are all African people, man. We're all over the world. But until you've gotten out there and seen these people, it won't sit in your mind firmly like it should. You know, we are God's people. We're the greatest people on the face of this earth. And once we begin to understand that, then we will be on the road to freedom, okay? Because like if you look at America, for instance, and I often talk to the young people about this, I say, look, man, we built America. Oh yeah, man, well the slave, nah, man, I ain't talking about no slavery. What I'm saying is from day one, we have defended this country. Everybody know it. We've even had to fight just to fight to defend this country. Okay, and I can give you that whole military history. Okay, but also, we brought STEM, or science and technology, to this country, from Benjamin Banneker to George Washington Carver, and in between, with those people working with Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham. Man, we built STEM, science and technology, in this country. White folks didn't do no work, so they didn't know a damn thing. Okay, it all came from us. If you look at the culture of the country, I don't care whether you're talking about rock and roll music, country and western, or what, or whether you look at Fred Astaire stealing Bill Bojangle Robinson's steps, or if you look at the white boys imitating us now with the pants all down the ass and shit like that, man, the whole culture come from us, the bad part and the good part. And then it wouldn't be a democracy. Who's been fighting for everybody to have equal rights? Us. We're the ones that made this a democracy. And then Chinese or Asians and others who came here who were despised more so than us, we paved the way for them, and then they turned around against us.
And voted for Trump.
Yeah, they turned around against us. And then want to try to kill affirmative action. So, look, we built the damn country, man. And we need to take ownership. This is ours. And we should stand up and take it and be prepared to take it. But we got to let our children know the truth about this, man. So that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it, all right?
One thing, let me just add this one point, and y'all go from here. What I appreciate about Tiger is his work with veterans. A lot of veterans come home with all kinds of mental health challenges. Traumatic brain injuries is one of them, from hearing a lot of loud booms and bombs and being near those blasts, as well as having to carry out orders that might go against one's humanity. Tiger and I have never really talked about it, but I talked about it extensively with Chief Ed Fox about how the military was used to bring cocaine into our neighborhoods. And we all know about Colonel Oliver North and Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra crack affair that launched the heaviest pandemic. And Nancy Reagan come on TV and told black people, just say no. And so it's interesting, Tiger, that in this day and time, in my neighborhood, majority black, we see a lot of non-black addicts. Yeah. I tell them just say no. I know I veered off the point.
No, but that's a good point. My brother I want to hear my brother there. Come on, bro.
Unmute your mic, Wells.
All right.
There you
go.
There you
Good?
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to say in reference to the Bible is that just as a thought, this is a thought, because it's clearly a very in-depth book. However, we were just to keep this in mind. We were here before Adam. So I know that can be puzzling, but just meditate and commune on the idea that we were here before Adam. Okay? Adam came later. All right? That's one thing. the sensitivity of the book is centered around one particular thing, and that is to bring love into the planet and into your one's plight on the planet. I'm 100% with that. But I'm also aware of the fact that we, meaning us melanated people, were here before Adam. Now, that's not something to debate. That's not something, that's only something to question, right? So, the thing that helped me with the Bible was studying all the other religions, right? So I studied, Hindu, I studied Buddhism, I studied Islam, I studied some Judaism. But what it did was it gave me a better understanding of the process that we mutually associate with religion. Now, the pilot light of all religions is the interpretation of the spirit or the spiritual. That, as Black people, we are quite blessed with, right? Just like we are blessed with our relationship to the sun. Many others have to shield that, right, frequency that comes from the sun. So, there's always been a consistent question in terms of the Jesus frequency, in terms of sun spelled SON as opposed to sun spelled SUN, right? And we all know who the sun kisses, what people the sun kisses. So yes, I agree 100% with what you're saying, that we are a divine people, right? And I would say that your experiences in Vietnam have brought about a certain purity in you, because to incarnate into this life and to have experienced all of what you have experienced, right? And the horror, as well as the joys and the sacrifices and what have you, I say that is similar to carbon being pressurized into a diamond. And I salute you, brother, for what you've been through and what you're doing for people, all people. I really appreciate you, Tiger.
My man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Mhm.
Well, I see that you say you're from Georgia, and I got a third great grandmother. Her name is Pinckney Davis, and she was from Georgia, so we might have that connection as well. You said some provocative things there, and got some provocative points. There's no room for debate there. I think the whole thing is like you acknowledge that you had Native American ancestry, and that's what we do here is getting our people to understand our connections to this soil here. And we do got a connection across the world, but we literally got a connection here. And it's time for us to claim that back, especially like, you got roots back in Georgia. You can get them documents because Georgia comes later in the game. That's what, 1730 with Oglethorpe, 1780s with the rest of them people when they brought the rest of the flock in. So like you said, the majority of people there were enslaved, but the majority of the people there were like Creeks and stuff. You get what I mean? Like the Davis family coming from there, going into Tallapoosa and Coosa County, where I come from, and down into Louisiana, where they ended at. So it's a lot of history with the family and our history here. And I think it's on the person on which avenue you want to take, and it's okay for me,
Yeah. Hmm. In relationship to geography, you have to look at who taught you geography. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, education is cumulative, right? So that means that in colleges and in institutions and what have you. It's like what the previous generation found out, what you know, in succession to where we are today. But one must always look at the foundations of it, right? So, in terms of the West, our foundation for history is primarily, right, coming from Europe. And I posit that because my mother was a great teacher, and so I was supposed to study, education and whatnot, right? But the thing is that when I researched the original Western educators, right, they had a specific agenda that was anti me and you, right? So that unraveling of history is what this panel has come together from all different parts of the world to investigate, because we can't take what they posit is the truth is actually the truth, because they had an agenda. Clearly, I think we can all agree that they have an agenda that covers everything that there is. It covers history, it covers art, covers music, it covers everything. Shit, it even covers sex. It covers all of these things, and that we, as natural loving people, just accept what they say, right? I've been fortunate enough to experience what is known as higher education. All right, so I've been I've been to the universities and all that kind of stuff, right?
And look, they got a question for Delegate Davis.
Yeah, there's no question about it. There's a whole lot of people financed by the CIA, and there's a whole lot
Correct.
of
There you go.
leadership. There's a lot of leadership out there too, who they may not be financed by the CIA, but the man ain't gonna let you get close to him unless he thinks you think the way he wants you to think. Okay, and so when people rise up or go up, what the ladder of success in America, you got to question who they are. Okay,
Right.
you got to
Right.
question who they are, because the man ain't gonna let you in his house unless you want to hit one of them. And so
Yeah.
we have to always question
Question. There you go.
our
There you
leadership, because the
Absolutely.
leadership must come from the masses, and the masses must enlighten themselves. And if the masses enlighten themselves, then their leadership will also have to follow, or they'll have to get out the way. I hope that answered your question. And the answer was yes, that our leadership is influenced by the CIA, because a whole lot of people are paid by the CIA. And even some of those people in corporate America are paid by somebody who wants to control our destiny. Okay, period.
I
Oh,
was
and
just
let me say this, and I have to say this from a first-hand thing. I had to leave the state legislature, and the reason I didn't run anymore, because it came down to the point where I was ready to start banging people upside the head. And I'm
Mm,
talking about black folks.
mm.
Okay, so when you get to that particular point, it's time to go. Because I could not be down there in the state capitol knocking out black folks. So I had to leave. I retired, came on back home, and began to finish my career teaching. And one of the great things about
At
teaching,
Morgan State University.
oh, absolutely. And see, I wanted to teach African American studies or black studies, whatever we call black studies, but where they put me at was in world history. And that was one of the greatest blessings of all,
Why?
because I had to teach world history, and I was forced to look at the world through the eyes of people in Asia, wherever. and then you study people like Zarathustra, or you have to teach about Buddha and all of that.
Yeah.
And one thing you find is that there was commonality in all of the teachings. And
Well,
so when you,
slow down, Doctor. Zara who?
Zarathustra.
Zarathustra, Zarathustra, Zarathustra. He was about 700 years before Jesus, and Jesus taught his stuff. Okay,
And where was he?
he was in what folks call the Middle Eastern area.
Mesopotamia.
Africa.
Yeah, out
Mesopotamia.
of what you might call the Persian area, whatever. Okay, but see, teaching world history was something I didn't want to do, but I ended up doing, and so I have to think that that was God's will for me to do that because it increased my knowledge of the world.
There was a hidden gem in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I began to see the relationships between all religions, and I said, "Well, whoa, wait a minute." And then I posed the question to some black ministers. I say, "Well, do you think that maybe God revealed Himself to the people in Asia, and they interpreted God based on their culture, and then maybe God revealed Himself to the people in South America, and they interpreted God through their perception, and then the same thing with the area that we call the Holy Land or whatever." Oh man, them ministers, man, went crazy, man. They were, hey, you can't even have a good discussion with them, man. They're so programmed
Right.
into the Jesus thing, man.
Well, the thing
Or the
is
white man's perception of religion.
well, the thing is that mental illness is not racist. So you got black people who are mentally ill. You got Chinese people who are mentally ill. You got white people who are mentally ill. You got Indian people that are mentally ill, right? So one always must uh, check check the information as far back as you can go, so that you can be more and more informed. It's a work in progress. And they say that in terms of Jesus, that the disciples, the root of that is discipline. And discipline, the root of discipline is to love to learn. That's what they say.
Well, let me
So
tell you
so
this.
long as we continue to learn, we're on the right path.
I don't seen a lot of talk about Christianity and all of that in the chat, and Brenda come in as that's Chicago's real dear friend talking about Christianity. This is what I know. You can claim whatever religion in the world you want, Tiger. I watch how you treat people.
There you go.
They can do all of this. They can quote scriptures. They can trace their lineage back to Jesus and King Tut. I watch how you treat people. And I can tell you that this man here, Tiger Davis, Tiger, I need you. Look, we got to wrap this up. I need you to tell him about your national work, the work you've done with veterans around the country. I met Morocco because of Tiger. Come on, Tiger.
Well, look, you know,
and then we're gonna go to Hannibal. Horace for the libations.
all right, look, there are a lot of issues out there surrounding Vietnam still, but what I'm working with the younger brothers on is the medication, like malaria pills and all that stuff they had them take when they went into Somalia and other areas of Africa and the Middle East or what have you. Man, these brothers are sick. They're getting all kind of kidney problems and everything, and they related to the that malaria pill and some of the other medication. Now, those companies that produce those pills knew the side effects when they gave the pill to the United States Army to use. And so the courts have said they got to give it up. And so all of this stuff is finding its way through the courts right now. But while I'm focused in on whether they affected black folks differently than they affected other people. There are a lot of issues, but it's just the new issue that we have to deal with because I got some young brothers who are in their 40s and 50s who are sick. I mean, kidney disease, liver, all kinds of problems. And they say it's related to the malaria pills and other medications they required them to take, or vaccines they required them to take to go fight in foreign territories. So I'm going to leave it at that. But that's a new one that I'm working with right now because we need to bring this stuff out and educate people on it. But people need to know that these young people are suffering from that stuff, man. Thank you all for listening.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Appreciate you. Much gratitude.
Right. I truly believe that every interaction is a learning experience, and like what came on the screen right here, say 1828 Noah's Dictionary definition of an Aboriginal American or copper-colored people of Negroes. But what I want people to do on a higher level, like you say, each stage has got education. When you get to the university level, it's a secret there. Look at the prefix of the word AB and do the full prefix and understand what you're saying. You're not saying what you think you're saying.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So it's when you want to be
You see that, Tiger?
Yes, sir.
like nitpicking on things, it can come back around. It's like we all on a level where we all trying to find this. That's what I'm saying. And in order for us to find this, people understand where we coming from. You can pinpoint and say, "Oh, you said this, you said that." It's not that. It's understood. We know where we coming from. We know what the person's trying to get across. Like
Right.
like you go to school and you learn how to spell. Like you learn how to actually put powers behind these words when they come
Right.
together. So understand what you're saying, what we're saying. You get what I mean? So that's
Absolutely.
just the point I was just trying to get across.
Well,
Yep.
I think that everything that been sort of inserted into our curriculums are backwards. For the most part, everything they told us was the reverse of what they told us. I also understand or overstand, just like that word overstand, understand, two different words. Understand that they told us these things because of the confusing mechanisms that would keep us in a state of confusion. And the reason why they wanted our thoughts to be focused elsewhere, because thoughts are literally things. And so when your thought is focused on a thing, you actually begin to move that thing or give that thing some form of your energy through that thought, which is actually a manifestation of something. So like the brother Planet Wells was saying, is that we were here before Adam. And I think
Correct.
that particular concept is hard for a lot of people to grasp because of the religious dogma that stems from what they brought over here to our land in a book, through their missions and their priesthoods. So now we are people who sort of stuck in that paradigm, which it's hard for us to let it go because, like telling the person, hey man, them chitlins ain't no good for you. Well, person tell you, I was raised on chitlins. Like one brother,
And hog maws. Don't forget the hog maws. Keep it
man,
100. This
yeah, hog
this a
maws too.
melanated show.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed one brother. Every time I see him, he had pork chop, ham sandwich, bacon, liver mush, something. I say, man, brother, that swine gonna kill you, man. He said, man, the only way swine to kill me is if I get hit by a hog truck. See? So now just that mentality alone and not willing to, understand that, man, everything was, given to us backwards for a reason is one of the main obstacles that's in our way of some form of progress. But I think they're all phases, man, because those people they're not the man, they're not the masters, they're not in power, they don't have control over us. We are the controllers of this destiny. We are headed, or we are already in success, because I think that our timelines are off too, man. We have to realize, man, that we are literally an ageless people. We didn't just
Yeah.
pop up a
Right.
couple of thousands of years ago or 100,000. Man, we are ageless, just as the stars are infinite as the galaxies. And I think that when we understand that part, then we'll be able to understand, like, hey, man, we are ocean, and we have in the past been controlled by 1 tablespoon of water, which is what they are, a tablespoon of water, man. We the ocean and the 7 seas all together, man. But I just wanted to say that, man. I ain't want to take up too much time, with my philosophical idealisms.
You're making up
Another
words now. Stop that, man.
an,
Look,
an- another
can you,
ano- another thing, just quickly, on the back of what Horace said, is like the pharmaceutical industry, right? Well, if you know the nature of the pharmaceutical energy, the pharmaceutical industry, is what they're trying to do is they're trying to consistently mimic things in nature. All of those drugs, all of that stuff is all trying to mimic something in nature so they can bottle it and sell it, right? And the reason why it doesn't work as effective is because that God, okay, that made all of this, made nature. So you'll notice that anything natural doesn't have side effects. Everything with the pharmaceutical, they have constant side effects. That's telling you something. Now you may be in a situation where you have to do that because we live in a society that is oppressed, a world that is oppressed by greed and by artificial stuff. So you may have to take something artificial to balance the artificial. I'm not, you know, suggesting that you throw away all medicines or something like that. But I'm just the point
I
is
do know we over medicated. I do
What
know we
Horace
over
is saying.
medicated.
Yes, what Horace is saying is that essence, right? That we are has been here before Adam.
Okay, we're gonna get on with these libations ours.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. I'd like to start out giving honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the great Queen Neitha of Chicago, Illinois, who defeated 5 armies of invading Europeans, the most honorable, rest in peace, Empress Firdayasi, the Chief Redbird, Chief Warhorse, Dr. Francis C. Wilson, Sister Shahrazad Ali, rest in peace, the great Mother Ashada Shakur, Angela Davis, Mama T, Sister Vicky Dillard, Sister Myra, Dr. Joy DeGrew, a sister on YouTube by the name of LaChris, who's doing amazing work, Dr. Arikana. And if you guys noticed, I named all of the matriarchs first. The
Sure.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm Malik El Shabazz, Dr. Khalid, the great Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the Honorable Dr. Delba Blair, the Honorable Taj Tariq Bey and Dr. G, the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson, Patrice Lumumba, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, the late great C. Freeman Ill, the great Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, the most honorable great Dr. Malachi York, the Honorable Omali Yashatila, the Honorable Julius Malema, the most honorable President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, the Honorable General Barbecue of Haiti, the beloved brother Bobby Hemmett, the Honorable Reverend Phil Valentine, Nellie Fuller, uh, uh, rest in peace, the brother Fred Hampton, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Anthony T. Browder, Professor James Small, Steve Coakley, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, Dan Calloway, Kareemio Ahua, Riza Islam, the late, the legendary Top Cats, the brother Rod Hayes and Young Elder, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Leila Ha'o Africa, Dr. Yaki Awakening, the Honorable Brother King Randall, the honorable, most wise and intelligent brother Doni Glover for providing us with this platform for us to reach our people. The honorable and wise brother Planet Wells, the honorable and beloved brother Hannibal James, the young, wise, and intelligent brother Mafia Shakur, Chief Secret Balance, and our guest, the honorable Clarence Tiger Davis, and all of our viewers who are 100% on our team in this monumental indigenous movement here on Turtle Island without any questions asked. Ashe.
In the great
Ashe.
Horus.
Horus Lee the Fourth.
Horus the Fourth.
Appreciate that, my brother.
Marbury's.
Tiger, you gonna shout out an ancestor or two?
Hey, I shout out Eddie Conway, Marshall Eddie Conway, my good brother.
Ashe.
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 Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back Thursday night, 8 o'clock.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace to the panel.
Blessings.